Hey everybody. Okay. We are back, I think, with part 5, working on the Animalia journal. And so, I got all my pages sewn. All my scrapbook papers are sewn, the edges are sewn, so they're all together. Now, I didn't add any trim to any of them, mainly because I'm still debating on that part. So, these are good and sewn. Essentially ready to be sewn in, but I'm going to work on my ephemera before I sew them in. So, my my little journal pamphlet is, I smashed it in my handy dandy paper press. And I'm pretty pleased with it. It's pretty simple, and I'm okay with that. Yeah. But I'm thinking I'm going to, I'm thinking I want to tuck it in a pocket right here in the front cover. I think that's what I want to do with it. I think. I was essentially, my plan was to do 2 pockets, and I was going to have this front page in one and then the actual guide or journal in this, but then I had the brilliant idea to add it to the cover. So, I think what I want to do is stick it here and tuck this in here. I think that's what I want to do. I hate that there's so much of that manila color, but we're going to kind of break that up a little bit, I think. So, what we're going to do is, I've got some scrap material here, and I'm thinking, I was playing around with my thoughts on this, I'm thinking of doing this, and then I'm going to stamp, I got my stamps out, and I'm going to stamp this lady's name on it and stick it right there. I think. I'm so back and forth about this. I've got my little scraps here, and I just don't know. I was playing around with this piece. Because I gotta have something over there, because that's just too much light on light. That I think is just too much, period. That I don't think is enough. So, this piece is kind of crinkled because I've set it in some, gave it a little spritz of coffee. So it's a little, I like that. And, or we could do this. And then her name there. But essentially, I don't know, I think I like that. I think I like that. Let's work with that. So first I want to hit all my edges with gold. Just tone us down a little bit. And let's see if we can, how's best to add kind of just adding a little bit of gold to this edge here. And I actually think this had a little bit of black on it, but that's okay. We are good. Yeah, we're good. So, yeah, I'm gonna hopefully not go so overboard with the gold shadowing in this, but I've got a particular look in my brain that I'm thinking, and so I'm thinking that we will be using a lot of that gold. Yeah, I think I like that. I'm gluing off camera. And I'm using my weld bond. I like to use a glue stick, but on thicker stuff and on material and things like that, thicker paper and all, I tend to use my weld bond just to make sure. And this is really thick paper for whatever weird reason. So I'm using weld bond just to make sure we're good and stuck. Let that dry a little bit. In the meantime, I'm going to stamp our name on this. And I assume that this order is for her. When she ordered it, she said she wants a lot of writing space. She does kind of as a spiritual study, like animal spirits, things of that nature, and so she wants lots of writing space. So I assume from that this is for her, and she didn't say my friend is really into or anything like that. So I assume it's for her. Just testing it out. Okay. I've got two little boxes of gold ink here, and I don't remember which one is the newest one. Okay. We'll see if this may be too light on this paper. Well, maybe not. It's pretty simple. I kind of like that. Just a little hint. I don't want to get too crazy with it. So again, I assume it's for her. And not a friend of hers, so set that aside. Yep, I think I like that. So let me think that's how she spells her name. Let me see if I can. Nope, I can't look it up here. I think that's how. I don't think it's an A, D-I-A-N-A. I think it's D-I-A-N-E. We're going to go with it. And if it's not correct, when I get off of here, I'll look it up on my phone and see, double check. And if it's not correct, we'll have to redo it somehow. Somehow. I'm kind of wondering. What do you think about that? Or we can go all in. Diane is one of those words that when you look at it for so long, it starts to look kind of a little silly. It's like, did I spell that right? Did I do that right? I think I like that. So we're going to go with that. Crazy with the glue because I want it to kind of be a little floofy. Okay. I think we kind of like that. And we will get it put down. Which may be kind of tricky because again we're all kind of buckled up. And I'm gluing paper to cloth. So I'm going to be kind of liberal with my glue because the cloth is going to soak quite a bit of that in. I'm going to be sure I get to my edges since they're all crinkled up. I want to be sure I get to them so I can push them down really good. Don't ask why I'm holding this in my hand and not using my glue book. I'm just going with the flow of the moment. Going with the flow of the moment. Be sure and get my glue to my edges for sure. And let us smoosh us down. that's pretty good and smooshed. And then you're gonna tuck right in here. And that's our front cover, inside cover. I think that's pretty cool. I think what I'm gonna do, I can't do it on this side, but I think what I'm gonna do is maybe pinch us down a little bit on some of these areas. Just because. Okay, so there we go. There's that. I'll set you over here to dry. And so now what I want to work on is I want to work on, I've got my images kind of sorted in 5 piles. I say my images in ephemera. And so like some of these things are already done, but some of them are just images. Now my images, most of them I got from the internet, from a free site, but there are a handful of them I've got from Etsy and from my friend Cindy at Studio Lou. So we're going to work on stack number 1, and it is for the first signature. Here's a color sheet that I want to tuck in somewhere. The only thing I need to do with it is around my corners, and it will be ready to tuck in somewhere. Don't know where yet. So that's ready. This little guy is an image from a book or magazine, and I want to put him on some folder and use him as a tuck. And then these are 2 little journal cards. They're little cards, greeting cards, blank greeting cards. And we'll round their corners. I need a new corner rounder. This one's being all contrary. So we'll round these corners and set them aside because they'll be essentially ready to go. I could add some stitching to them, but I'm not going to, I don't think. Not right now anyways. So, this image I know I want to make like a journal card out of, and this I want to do like a side tuck, a pocket out of. So we can work on both of those. And I have you know what? If I do him on the corner here, I will already have like a little pocket. Decisions. I'll break apart my folder pockets. So I have some working paper to work with. Okay. So this guy, I think I want to do him as a journal card. I don't think he's going to be too big. Nope, he's going to be a big journal card, but I think he'll be okay. And I'll stitch around him for sure. We're going to go ahead and get him down on the manila paper. And this was a cute little image from Cindy at Studio Lou. Little toads. I think she actually did on one of her videos, she actually did a journal card with this guy as well. And I've been up in so many different things this last week or two, but I think this was on her Patreon. She has a Patreon account, which is pretty cool. She shares a lot of her images there. Okay, and I'll stitch this guy. I'm not going to do much else with him. I'm going to add some gold to edge him on both sides. And I'll put him in the stitch pile. That's cute. So cute. Cute little toads. Yeah, these are all good. I'll put this in the stitch pile. And then this guy. I think I'm not going to use him. I think I'll just back him and then, because who knows, he may turn into a dang journal card. Who knows? Although I may need him as a big tuck spot for that big toad card. I got a hair tickling me. Again, he's just an image from a magazine or a book about animals. I think it's from a book. A book about animals. Which came in pretty handy for sourcing images for this. I will stitch around him since he is stuck to something. He's a cutie. Give him a little floof of gold. Uh-oh. And put him in the stitch pile. So yeah, he'll be a cute little tuck spot. Okay, let's see here. These are my other images. Now, I'm thinking this may be a good pocket. Since it's long. So we'll back him as well. Or her. I think there's a woman pictured in this picture. There is. some vultures. That was on, so Diane gave me a list of animals that she would like in here. And vultures was on there. And I'll tell you, vultures are quite ugly birds. They are quite the ugly creatures. So we found this image and went with it. I don't know that gold's going to show up on it, but and also around this one as well. Any of them that I glue to a piece of backing, I'll stitch around. Mainly just to give it a little extra security. So I think these are the pieces that we're left with for this one. I think he would be a pretty journal card. Pretty good size for a journal card. But I've got other options. Let's see here. Maybe we will make him into a journal card. My glue's being all goofy. Kind of like that ripped edge there. What do you think? I kind of like that effect. Not so big, but nothing says we can't have the ripped edge. What do you think? Let's add some gold and see what it does. And of course I'll stitch around this one as well. Okay, working with it, working with it, working with it. So we'll stitch around him. So these images here, these little images, I'll probably just attach throughout the first signature. somewhere. So I'm gonna set those aside. What I'm gonna do now is pull out these 2 cards. Yeah. And I'm gonna find a place for them in my first signature. I'm kind of inclined to do him as a top flip. Decisions. I could do it as a flip like right there. I don't think it's too big for that. We could trim around the butterfly. I don't necessarily want this writing space covered, but it could be covered like that. And then we have this on the back side. That we could easily add our image there. This is going to be kind of tricky because she was okay with the animals being spread throughout. And so my hang up now is if I've got this page with all these moths on it, then I put a cat on it. It's kind of throwing me off just a little bit. But I'm gonna have to get over that because she wants animals all throughout. So I think the first thing I need to do is trim this. It says the Paper Studio here. I'm gonna trim it the right way. Space. Don't we all need a bigger space? Just gonna trim a little bit. To trim off this paper. I wonder if I can get it off with that. Yeah, I don't want to trim too much because that was totally crooked. I don't want to trim too much because my cat won't fit on it then. Okay. Now, and I'll take this and round these corners again. So you won't know none the wiser, essentially. And Mr. Kitty Cat, will you fit there still? You will. So I'm kind of thinking if we do, okay, let me glue the cat down. Get that situated. Probably should stitch around that just to hold it on, but maybe not. Okay, so if we do the butterfly here and leave it as a flip so you can still write underneath it and up there, and then I'll glue this down, but let me find some paper to glue under this. as kind of a excuse me, more writing space. Let's see what we got here. You know what? I think, yep, that's what I want to do. I pulled out this roll of brown paper. It's thin brown wrap. And I think I want to use it throughout here. I'm wondering if it'll be too thin. Just hold with me for a minute. If we added it like this and glued it down, there would be some journaling space here. Or we could leave it flappy, but it'd be glued down with the cat. It's thinner than I was thinking it was, and so that's what's kind of got me a little pause going on here. Part of me feels like it needs to be glued down completely. But then part of me wonders, let's just test a little bit. Set all this thought process aside for a minute. We have some thin paper. And let's see here. There is some scrap butterfly. Let's just see how well it will stick with a glue stick. It's almost like a tissue paper. And so if you have it stuck down here, let me see. Why do I never have a pen? I just find that so fascinating. I never have a pen handy. I think that'll work. It's thin enough that it goes down pretty smooth. Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay, that answered that. Back to this thought process. Get this stuff up here. Okay. I think what we want to do first is glue this down. My plan is to use this throughout, so to add little spots of journaling space, basically. Because I've used quite a bit of the scrapbook paper, and since it's got such vivid images on it, it's kind of hard to write on. So if we do this in spaces throughout, that gives us some extra writing room, and I think that is going to work beautifully. So it lays down really smooth with the glue stick. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, now since this cat card is a little thicker, we're going to use some weld bond for him. And that stuff falling here. What's going on? What's going on? And we will paddle it down. Of course, I'm just gluing this side because I want the front side to be a flip. And the back side is just an image. Get you out of the way. And let's see if we can do this with some sort of now. I think I like that. And that gives us a flip. Nice. Okay. And there we have that. I always tend to have to feel like I have to put my signatures back together before I start on the next option. I think I do that to make sure that I don't have, that I'm not I like that a lot. That worked out perfectly. Okay. So we have one flip in the front part. Here I go trying to even this out. There's our middle. And so this back card, I feel like needs to be back here somewhere. I don't know where. Can we do the same thing? Let's start by trimming off this, the company name. Getting us a working piece. I appreciate you, the paper studio, but kind of in the way. Okay, back to this. Now, if we do can do it low down this. We could, oh, let's see here. We do it low down at the bottom. You're gonna tuck in there perfectly. I think I need to trim this a little bit. Or let's try to switch this out with this guy. You're skinnier. Okay, yep. That's what we needed to do. Perfect. I love it when a plan that really wasn't a plan starts to come together. This is another coloring page, but I folded it kind of funny just because of the way that it is. But I think if we pocket glue this side down, we can tuck us in here. I may need to trim it a little bit, but we have room to do that. And this will be glued, and then this side can be a flip. Okay, I think we're gonna do that. And I probably should, I didn't do it on the other cards, but I probably should do it on this. I can go back and add some gold. Okay. So we want to just going to add a little bitty tiny sliver of glue along this edge here. And then we want around the bottom. And then we'll pull you in here and you up and press you down. And we just want this side glued because we want this as a flip. Perfect.